A very good evening to you and a very warm welcome to TV47 Weekend Edition. Tonight on Her Say, we are celebrating our very own Elizabeth Atieno, Violet Namatsi, who scooped this very prestigious awards, not one, not two, but four. On Her Say tonight, I'm stepping in for Linda Alela. But before we delve deeper into the stories that we have prepared for you tonight, let's take a look at the top of the stories tonight.
Tonight, journalists from Cape Media shine at the annual Journalism Awards.
The Journalist of the Year award goes to...
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Elizabeth Ochieng.
Elizabeth Ochieng, we celebrate you.
As our journalist Elizabeth Atieno scoops the award of the best journalist in Kenya. As the government issues a warning revealing that 219 people have so far lost their lives due to floods in the country, we shine the spotlight on the much talked about Cyclone Hidaya that has already landed at the Tanzanian coastline. And 53 people died while hundreds were injured during the opposition demonstrations organized by Azimio last year. Today, we focus on the protest by asking the question, has any ordinary Kenyan benefited from the protests?
Mimi nikiwa huko chini nikasikia kuna kijana ameuawa kwa shell kutoka mabatini. Hasa mimi sikujua ni ndugu yangu.
Right, welcome to this live broadcast coming live to you from our headquarters here in Nairobi. My name is Ann Odida and our sign language interpreter is Rhoda Nyamai. Let's get started. Now, Cape Media's Elizabeth Atieno was named the Journalist of the Year in the recently held annual Journalism Excellence Awards. TV47's Violet Namatsi, George Kinyanjui, and Radio 47's Ali Hassan also managed to clinch awards, giving Cape Media reason to keep on with the good work of telling compelling stories. The prestigious awards are usually organized by the Media Council of Kenya to recognize and honor excellence and professionalism in the media industry. Cape Media has been put on the limelight following the awards ceremony.
The story that was skillfully crafted by Kenya's Journalist of the Year, Cape Media's Elizabeth Atieno Ochieng, presented a sweatless survival. A story about the Ilimanang community in Turkana County whose unnatural ability to not sweat captured the attention of viewers and the judges of the annual Journalism Excellence Awards. A story that led to her being recognized as Journalist of the Year. TV47's Violet Namatsi, who is based in Kakamega County, won an award for a story titled The Plight of Intersex Persons in Kenya in the category of gender reporting. As former TV47 reporter Sharon Baranga, with her photojournalist George Kinyanjui, won awards for their story under the governance reporting category. Radio 47's Ali Hassan was a finalist for his story Hamkani za Mashabiki under the category of sports reporting. During the celebrations that are usually marked every year during the World Press Freedom Day, journalists were asked to keep the fire burning and continue informing the public. They have also been appreciated for the work they do, despite the dangers likely to be experienced.
Trade and the profession that we are celebrating tonight is here to stay. The journalists will be here in good times, they shall be here in times of crisis, they shall be here in times of calamity.
The Media Council of Kenya, who are the organizers of the awards, also celebrated journalists who died in the recent past.
Holding public interest. Your work is essential to the health and the vibrancy of our democratic society.
The awards are usually held after scrutiny of submissions in various categories, including radio, television, print and digital, by qualified judges. Vera Alberta, TV47.
Now, torrential rains that have been pounding various parts of the country have unleashed floods of epic proportions and displaced thousands of families. Statistics from the Interior Ministry show that the rains have affected 206,240 people and displaced 41,248 households. Ruga Eva with the details.
It's been more than a month of destruction and deaths since the heavy rains began pouring. Today, several people losing their lives and others being rendered homeless and afraid of what tomorrow might bring. And now the government has increased its efforts to aid citizens to temporarily cope with the situation. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Interior, Raymond Omolo, saying that the government is doing everything possible and has directed officers of the National Government Administration officers to establish more camps for those affected by the floods.
Na part of chenye tutafanya after kutoa watu kwa sehemu ya mto ni kwamba tuko na mashamba mingi za serikali. Mojawapo ni depo mnasema ya polisi. Na hapo tutaitumia kujenga social housing ili watu wenye wametoka kwa mto watapewa nafasi ya kwanza. And the assurance from the government is tutashughulikia kila mmoja.
Meanwhile, the Red Cross continues with rescue operations in various areas. However, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Water, Fantasy Modo, has emphasized the need for the government to initiate a project to construct dams and water ponds to harness the rainwater for agricultural use in days to come, especially in areas with rivers that are bursting their banks.
We've been mapping out where the rivers which are overflowing and also the lagers, where we don't have rivers but we have seasonal rivers. We've been mapping out with an intention of first doing check dams and dams, doing some land reclamation activities, which will ensure instead of water flowing, water percolates downwards.
34 counties have been heavily affected by the floods. A family still in search of their kin in Baringo after he was swept away by floods.
The main thing ni kuambia watu watoke. That's why we are doing a very serious mobilization, kumobilize watu watoke kwa areas ambayo ni zones ambayo ni mbaya.
10 schools in Kilifi County have been reported submerged, according to Governor Gideon Mungaro, who stated that Madunguni School is the most affected.
Madunguni Secondary huwezi kuingia kabisa. We have 10 schools marooned, but the worst is Madunguni Secondary kwa sababu hata huwezi ingia maji yameenda mpaka madirisha. Kule kwingine ni vipi watoto watafika hapo?
Ruga Eval, TV47.
Still on that, beaches in Kwale, Mombasa, Kilifi and Lamu counties will remain shut effective today until midnight on Monday. This is a public safety alert on the Cyclone Hidaya being tracked by scientists since Wednesday. The cyclone is said to have made a landfall in the neighboring country of Tanzania, with satellite images now showing that the storm might have weakened and might not be as bad as had been predicted for the Kenyan coast. Sheila Chelangat reports.
For 4 days now, Cyclone Hidaya has been on the radar of the weathermen, predicted to hit the Kenyan coastline on Sunday. However, it seems Kenya will be spared the full wrath of Hidaya.
It has already started weakening. Now, satellite images are not showing any form of any form of organization of the clouds, and the cloud tops have also cooled considerably, showing that the storm has lost a lot of momentum.
As of 6 p.m. Saturday, it had toned down to a moderate tropical storm. Cyclone Hidaya has caused quite a frenzy on social media.
It peaked at Category 1 hurricane of winds of 165 kilometers. By today, midday, it was around 130. Right now, it has clearly weakened and there's no defined eye. So now what we are dealing now are just remnants.
Cyclones first develop as large clouds of thunderstorms, and with the Earth's rotation, they start swelling with a common center. And with the pressure drop, the storm turns into a tropical disturbance before turning into a tropical storm.
Tropical cyclone usually have a very clearly defined eye. An eye is the center where there's usually no clouds or any precipitation because winds are moving around there. So it's like a whirlpool.
A cyclone generates massive precipitation and strong winds that are destructive.
Even the storm was very far away into the ocean. It can create what we call very large waves. It can be a danger to shipping. And because it's still in the ocean, it can cause, the large waves can cause boats to capsize or even cause marine accidents.
Hence the government's move to ban beach activities, fishing, swimming, non-essential transport and evacuation of settlements deemed too close to the shoreline, effective today until midnight Monday, when Cyclone Hidaya is expected to dissipate. Satellite images as of 7 p.m. however showed that the cyclone has been weakened, this being attributed to proximity to the equator.
Once the storm attains that trajectory and as it heads towards the equator, it was likely to dissipate and not be a threat to Kenya as such.
Kenyans are urged to continue taking precaution as Cyclone Hidaya is projected to dissipate by Monday. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
All right, now tonight, President William Ruto's allies, led by his aide Farouk Kibet, majority leaders, that is in the Senate and the National Assembly, criticized Azimio leader Raila Odinga for being thankless to President William Ruto, who is backing his African Union Commission chairmanship bid. The leaders who spoke in Busia County lashed out at Odinga for this Friday remarks, criticizing President Ruto for failing to handle the humanitarian crisis occasioned by the flooding crisis and the government's move to demolish houses in the Mukuru-Kwaruben slums because of the floods.
Azimio coalition leader Raila Odinga's renewed attacks on the Kenya Kwanza administration after a short trip in Dubai has drawn the ire of Kenya Kwanza leaders, accusing him of being thankless to President William Ruto, who is campaigning for his quest to become the next chair of the African Union Commission.
I want to tell Raila Odinga, please be a decent gentleman. It cannot be that while we are busy trying to sort the mess that you and Uhuru Kenyatta created in this country, that you are leading from the front again, creating disturbance in our country. Be a decent human being and respect the fact that we are doing a magnanimous thing by holding your hand to ensure that you become the chairperson of AU. And we are doing it unconditionally. Sasa nimesikia mzee Raila jana. Na mimi nasema tumuombee. Tumuombee baba. Sababu sio mapenzi yake. Najua alitoka safari, alikuwa huko Dubai na alikutana na watu wengine huko Dubai. Na wale alikutana nao Dubai ndio wanampoteza Raila Odinga.
The leaders, led by President William Ruto's aide Farouk Kibet, spoke during a fundraiser for Chelelemuk Catholic Church in Teso North, where they drummed up support for the government's efforts to contain the humanitarian crisis caused by floods.
Mchiathari na maneno ya maji. Maji sasa imekuwa changa kuu katika taifa la Kenya. Wale mumekolea na kuishi katika mahali maji inapita, mimi naomba hapa Budalangi watu waanze kuhama, wahamie mahali safe.
Na nafurahi sana gavana wetu, licha ya kuwa gavana wa ODM, aliamua kufanya kazi na serikali ya Kenya Kwanza kwa sababu anapenda watu wa Busia. Na mimi nataka kuomba gavana aweze kuidentify sehemu zote zile ambazo huwa zinaathirika na mambo ya mafuriko ya maji.
Hii mambo ya majanga, serikali ya county na serikali za national tunashirikiana pamoja. But we want resources. Bwana Ichungwa, wewe ndio majority leader, Ichungwa na kuaddress na Cheriot. Tunataka tafadhali mtusaidie. Those emergency funds should come. We are overwhelmed. As counties hatuwezi kumaliza peke yetu.
Odinga on Friday, during a food donation exercise at Mukuru-Kwaruben slums in Embakasi South constituency, criticized the government for its unpreparedness to handle the floods crisis, while saying President Ruto has run out of ideas to manage the country.
Wameshindwa, walishindwa na hata wakikaa miaka 10 hawameshindwa. Zakayo hajui njia.
Odinga needs the government support and more so President Ruto to secure support for his African Union Commission chairmanship quest, now under threat from volatile politics at home. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Now, the family of a lady who disappeared under unclear circumstances in Makueni is crying for justice after the body of the lady was found at Mutomo Mortuary, Kitui County. The family now wants speedy investigations to be conducted and those who performed the heinous act on her be brought to book. The body of Nuru Akbar, who disappeared on March 29th, was discovered by residents in Athi River in Kiaoni along the borders of Makueni and Kitui with injuries.
The sister of the late Nuru Akbar, Afi Akbar, is now pointing an accusing finger to the husband of the bereaved for failing to report the disappearance of Nuru Akbar. She wants investigations be conducted to find out whether the husband might have had a hand in the death of Nuru Akbar.
Amejistiri, anajiheshimu, mwenye dini yake. Kamchukua kwa wema, amekushinda, ungemregesha kwa wema. Sio kumtekeleza na kumdhulumu kiasi hicho. Hakuwa dhalimu. Lakini twashukuru jambo moja, umechukua madhambi yake, uliyemtoa uhai, uwe ni nani ama nani. Na yeye ni mja wa peponi, tunalolishukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwamba umempa tiketi ya kuingia peponi. Ila wewe ujue hapa duniani hatuishi milele.
While narrating the disappearance, Afia says the search mission led them to Mutomo Mortuary, where they located the body. According to a post-mortem exercise report, Nuru died due to suffocation, with further reports indicating she had injuries on the hands, face and even the ears.
Kwamba Nuru aliweza kunyongwa kabla afariki, kwa sababu ulimi wake ulikuwa umetoka nje na vile pia ilikuwa kunaonyesha kwamba alikosa hali ya hewa, ndiposa akaweza kufariki. Baada ya haya yote kupitia, inaonyesha kwamba Nuru ndo alitupwa katika mto, kwa sababu si kweli kwamba alikuwa amezama katika mto, kwa sababu katika mapafu ilikuwa hakuna maji ya kuonyesha kuwa alikuwa amezama.
Salma Ahmed, a human rights defender, says the bereaved is alleged to have been sexually abused before she was killed and later thrown into a river. She wants the DCI to conduct investigations, and especially on the husband who they had a last-minute chat with.
Na yule aliyeua, kile tunachotaka ni DCI ifanye uchunguzi na kupitia na familia, marafiki ambao waliweza kushuhudia kabla, baada ama kulikuwa na fununu waweze kutoa ushahidi ili hii kesi iweze kuwasilishwa kotini na yule aliyetenda maovu kama haya aweze kuchukuliwa hatua ya haraka iwezekanavyo.
Haki Africa representative Freddy Kodhiambo is blaming police officers in Kibwezi and Mutomo for what he alleges is arguments arising between the two stations on how the murder case should be handled.
Ni muhimu mwenye alikuwa na Nuru wa mwisho ama mwenye alikuwa alikiishi na yeye aitwe ama ashikwe ili aulizwe maswali 1, 2, 3 kuhusiana na kupotea kwa Nuru na kupatikana amekufa.
Nuru was buried yesterday in the Kibwezi Muslim Cemetery in Makueni County as residents call for justice. Paul Kerobi, TV47.
All right, we hope the family gets justice. Now that story is taking us to a very fast short break at this point. So much more lined up for you. Stay with us.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na Nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus nikoniwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee. Soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue. Mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life,
you know, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking.
Nowadays with the tech, you can check on different websites or you check online and you can see some inspiration. So at least that one would be a direction already. I'll know like what kind of style you're going for.
To finishing touches, witness the dedication of the hard-working teams who bring.
All right, welcome back. You are watching TV47 Weekend Edition. Let's continue with our coverage. The Cooperative Bank of Kenya has received a long-term credit facility of $25 million US or 3.3 billion Kenyan shillings from the German state-owned development bank DEG for onward lending to micro, small and medium-sized enterprises managed or owned by women. Cooperative Bank of Kenya Group Managing Director and CEO Gideon Muriuki said the financing from DEG came at exactly the right time, since there is a great need for stronger backing of businesses that are owned or managed by women. Muriuki added that the facility will boost the bank's capacity to cover the long-term funding requirements of SMEs. "53 people died while hundreds were injured as a result of the months-long anti-government protest led by the opposition. This is according to the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA. More than 6 months later, Moiga William revisits the struggle. Has it borne any fruits? This as he speaks to the affected Kenyans who endured all the pain and, to a great extent, loss.
The anti-government protest claimed the lives of 53 people. Hundreds were injured and properties of unknown value was also destroyed.
At least 17 people have been injured.
Now 6 people are confirmed dead.
These 6 people have been killed in clashes between police and demonstrators.
Azimio la Umoja, the movement leading the protest, cited the soaring cost of living as the primary catalyst for the demonstrations. Criticism was directed towards President William Ruto for abolishing subsidies on essential commodities and imposing higher taxes, exacerbating the financial strain on ordinary citizens.
Vita imeanza. Sawa. Haitaisha. Haitaisha. Mpaka Wakenya wapate haki yao. Mko tayari? Mko
tayari? And Kenyans heeded to the call to join in the anti-government protest called by Azimio la Umoja. But the results were death, injuries and loss of property. But what we are going to tell you are the people who are most affected. They are not the political elite, but the common mwananchi. The voices of those directly impacted by those protests echo the widespread anguish and hardship endured during the anti-government protest. At the heart of Mathare, an informal settlement in Nairobi, we meet Godwin Omondi. Godwin is still nursing a gunshot wound sustained during the protest. The father of 3 is struggling under the weight of a mounting medical bill.
Kidogo tu mimi nasikia tu risasi nimepigwa kwa mguu. Wakati nilisikia risasi, tangi pia ilikuwa hapo ikanifinyilia kwa ukuta ya 10,000 liters. Nikatolewa hapo wakanipeleka Kenyatta. Kunipeleka Kenyatta nikaadmitiwa. Nikakaa Kenyatta huko karibu wiki moja, kuna dawa. Juu kila mara mgonjwa wengine wanaingia kuumizwa tu. So dawa sikupatiwa, ni kukalishwa tu kwa kitanda. Mpaka Baada ya siku 7 ndio nikapelekwa kwa theater, kafanywa hiyo upasuaji ya mguu, nikakaa hiyo chuma ya aerial. Hapo nikakaa mwezi moja.
A few yards away, Meshak Alon's family is yet to come to terms with his untimely death. Allegedly, at the hands of law enforcement officers, Meshak was allegedly killed by a police bullet on July 7th, 2023 during the Azimio protest.
Kufika saa 6, mimi nikiwa huko chini nikasikia kuna kijana ameuawa kwa shell kutoka mabatini. Hasa mimi sikujua ni ndugu yangu. Mimi nikasema hiyo ni kawaida ya maandamano, sasa uwezi ukajua. Well, tukakaa mpaka usiku saa 4. Tungoja akuja kule sapa, vile tumezoea huwa anarudi anakula ndiye akuje huko kulala. Hakukuja. Mpaka saa 6 usiku hakukuja. Tukaenda tukalala. Kesho yake saa 12 akasema hapana, twende City Mortuary tuangalie kweli. Juu vile hajakuja na hajawahi lala nje na hajawahi kosa kuja kwa nyumba kula sapa. Twende tuhakikishe. Wakati tulitoka kule kufika Mortuary tukampata.
Hilary Githaiga, a supermarket owner, still grapples with the aftermath of the protest. He is struggling to keep his business afloat after unknown people broke into his store located in Kawangware and made away with goods worth $500,000.
Walianzia all the way from 56 wakikuja. So they were vandalizing any given shop that could be there. Wanatoa vitu. So walikuwa wanasemanga tunaenda shopping. I was around. I saw what happened. But now the problem is there was not enough security. I was just called because I was inside the plot there. I was just calling, nikaambiwa duka yako inabomolewa. Bro, kufika hapa kuona venye duka inatingishwa, actually nilisikia nikunywe sumu.
During the protest, even journalists were not spared. Brutality was meted on them in the line of duty. Eric Isinta of NTV was among those hit by a tear gas canister. Isinta maintains it was just a bad day in office for him and colleagues.
The second tear gas came. It hit me. It hit me on the chest. It hit actually the bulletproof. It went up. Me, I just heard something came straight to my chest. It went inside. Actually, I have a scar of the camera, of the tear gas. It actually burnt me this left side here. The moment I was now going to pick the camera, that's when I faced this tear gas. I got the other one here. So this tear gas that hit me here, the one that brought me down. I don't know how I got out. I don't know how, from that moment, I just saw black. I didn't know what happened. Sometimes I usually cry in my house when I remember the images usually come to my mind of the incident. I try to figure it out. How, if I died, what could have happened to my family?
The people he spoke to represent a fraction of the many people affected by the protest that occurred between the months of May and July last year. The goal was to have the Kenya Kwanza government heed to the cries of Kenyans by lowering the cost of essential commodities. Data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics (KNBS) in December 2023 indicated that there were increases in prices of basic commodities affecting the day-to-day lives of Kenyans, such as transport, which increased by 11.7%, housing, water, electricity, gas by 8.3%, and food and non-alcoholic beverages at 7.7% between December 2022 and December 2023. Prices of carrots, kale, that is sukuma wiki, mutton, goat meat, and beef with bones increased by 14.5%, 6.2%, 5.1% and 3.6% respectively between November 2023 and December 2023. Despite the outcry and formation of a national dialogue committee aimed to address the grievances, little progress has been made. The issue of the cost of living remains a contentious point of contention between the government and the opposition, further deepening the divide.
It is the duty of the government to inspire hope. It is the duty of the government to respond to those issues and give solutions.
The statistics paint a grim picture of the economic hardships faced by Kenyans, with significant increases in prices of basic necessities. While the protest sought to pressure the government into action, the lingering question remains: who bears responsibility for the casualties, injuries, and destruction incurred during the unrest.
Those who call for the demonstrations, not the demonstrations. Those who call for the riots, those were not demonstrations.
After that,
it was a campaign of violence and anarchy.
Azimio deeply regrets the loss of lives during the peaceful protests, continues to hold the government responsible for these needless deaths, and promises that the deaths shall never be in vain.
For Omondi, Alon's family, Hillary and Jacinta, it's a matter that still casts a dark cloud over them, which they state there is little change, if any, in the country's situation.
The cost of living is high to each and everybody, so we are all struggling.
Kazi zenyewe hazipo, unapata ushuru tena unatozwa mingi na una kazi.
Wakenya tunaumia.
What is coming out from a majority is the call of justice. But the question remains is where and how will they get this justice, as it is turning out to be a trivial exercise. Mwege, TV47.
Thank you so much, Mwege William, for taking us back in time with that report on the anti-governmental protest. We hope that the families that were affected continue to find solace. Now let's get sporty. Saturday was day one of the third round of the 2024 Europe Day Kenya football tournament being held at Malindi High School in Kilifi County. On Sunday, 2 teams out of the 16 will book their tickets to represent the county in the finals of the competition at Ulinzi Sports Complex in Nairobi on 17th of May. The Under-18 Boys and Girls Tournament at the Coast is being sponsored by the German government. The teams in the ladies category include Mkongani, Mwangea, Viambari, Ngombeni, St. John's, Mtepeni, Kakoneni and Kambeni. The boys competition comprises Vitengeni, Malindi, Kizuruni, Kajiwe, Msumarini, Mwarakaya, Galana and Mkongani. This is the inaugural tournament, which has 4 qualified teams from Marsabit and Homa Bay counties. Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro officially unveiled the games together with the German ambassador to Kenya and the Deputy European Union ambassador.
Kilifi County to host the European Union tournament, which is going on now between the under-18 teams, both for boys and girls under-18. I know it's part of a celebration of the European Union, but for us as a county, it's about nurturing talent. It's about giving the boys and girls an opportunity to showcase their capability in sports.
Today is a big day because we are having this football tournament here in Malindi, which is part of a broader tournament that will have its final on the 17th of May. Germany took over the part of the Kilifi county. We are doing these pre-tournaments in 4 counties, and we are very happy to partner with the EU delegation and with the county government of Kilifi. Today we have 8 teams from the boys and 8 teams from the girls, and they play each other for the whole day, and tomorrow we will have the finals for the qualification to go then to Nairobi. And in order to play the final round in Nairobi and probably to be the winner of the tournament.
Kilifi County has a lot of opportunities. I think it's got a lot of tourism. There are a lot of opportunities for development, but there is also quite a limited number of jobs for young people. And so we are trying to do our part in this part of the country to help to create skills or to support skills and to create jobs, to promote economic development. And I think football is one of the areas where you can develop your skills and you can actually build your life around it. And that's why we're here today.
All right, we are taking a very short commercial